love energy that can touch the hem of their garment and be made whole. Right? That's a lot of mitochondrial output. But then watch what she say. Who touched me?
Right. Right.
How the fuck you know you touched your clothes, lady?
Your clothes.
How you know? Right? So that's
Right.
the thing right there that keeps that energy. That's how you know that the Christ ain't no man. Aside from going to
Right.
Greek and it's spelled IESOUS, that says ISIS all day long,
Right.
using the grammar key.
Right.
Aside along from that, the character, love your enemy.
Love. Love. Love.
And kill him with love. Let the love do it. Man, fuck that shit. I'm gonna beat that nigga ass. No, baby, you can't fight everybody. Everybody not worth you fighting.
That's
Wish
right.
them love and send them on their way and watch what life do to them because you can't match that shit.
That's right.
You can't match that shit. My mama made me forgive some people I did not want to forgive. I look at him now and I'm like, I'm glad I ain't killed that ratchet motherfucker because he done missed all that punishment. He done missed all
Right.
that punishment. Shit, I can see that
Yes.
shit now. Yep.
Right.
Pull your ass up by your bootstraps, nigga. You tried to motherfucking murder me and I let your ass go and look at you now.
Mm.
Look at you now. Look what life did to you 25
Right.
years, 30 years later. Life did some shit
Right.
to your ass that my revenge could have never did. You can't be a dirty motherfucker and that shit sustain you. It's gonna
That's
tear you
right.
down. And the only people I ever had any malice toward been some dirty motherfuckers.
Right.
That's it. I don't have no malice toward nobody that ain't doing nothing to me. Or the people I love. I don't
Right.
got no malice. I don't walk around, even the people I be mad at when they ain't around, I don't feel a drop of anger.
That's so
Ain't no
beautiful.
anger there. But when I see them, oh, I remember. Motherfucker, I was mad at you. But look what life done
Yeah.
did to you. I ain't even mad no more.
Right. You ain't have to
No,
do
that's
nothing. You just freaking.
life. Look, I used to tell dudes in the street, let him live. Life gonna do something to him that your bullet can't never
Yeah.
do.
That's true.
And life will kick your motherfucking the balls quick.
Yes. Yes. And I've been seeing a lot of that come quickly, that karmic cycle. I've been seeing it, like people catching it. Like in this season we're in, I don't know what's going on or how the stars are aligned, but I've been seeing that thing come quick, quick, quick. And I'm like, ooh, I'm
You
so
think
glad I'm
it's
out
been
of it. Ooh, I'm so glad
you,
I'm out of work.
you think it's been coming quick? Wait till Tuesday.
Ooh,
Motherfuckers gonna
Tuesday.
get instant karma.
Ooh. No.
Soon as they start close, because they started to close of this Haitian revolutionary conjure Saturday, right? The first ritual be
Wow.
done. The first ritual be done Monday, and then that
Yeah.
24-hour turnaround on that energy come Tuesday. A whole bunch of motherfuckers gonna be getting instant karma, and a whole lot of
Wow.
motherfuckers, Mother Nature finna turn off their brain and their heart.
You know what? That's funny you say that because my father, he's Haitian. I had asked him about it a year ago. I said, "What's up?" I feel like something. And he's like, "Oh, you know." And I said, "What about this kind of show?" That's one of the questions I had for you about how that conjure and that ritual is about to go down, how it's going to impact indigenous people, or how. Let me not say that. Let me say people who have been working on themselves, people who have been in alignment, versus those who've not been. Like, how will we be able to know the impact of this thing?
You're gonna be able to feel it, especially the
Mm.
sisters, because it's the return of the sweet water comes on the
Uh
heels.
huh.
So there was a priestess who gave her life, volunteered to sacrifice herself for us to be victorious in our war.
Indeed.
And then there's another priestess who was officiating, and it was a general in the military, and they needed a root worker. So they called in a guy from Jamaica. They called the Bookman.
Mm-hmm.
Duddy Bookman came from Jamaica. I didn't notice at first, right? I didn't notice at first. I thought
Mm-hmm.
he was Haitian like Tucson. He wasn't. He was
Right.
from Jamaica. They sent for him. Now, the reason that it's still open is because every time the priesthood of Haiti was infiltrated by dirty Moors. They look
Ah,
like
okay.
us, but they out for the money. They not trying to get nobody. What we really use the voodoo and the hoodoo for, we really use it for healing more than anything else and defensive magic, right?
Right. Right. Absolutely.
Well, they didn't want to close the conjure because as long as that
Mm-hmm.
conjure was open, Haiti could suffer. The only one that appeased the gods
Right.
correctly was the one that we call Papa Doc. Papa Doc,
Mm.
if you go back and look at him, he used to paint his face with the white paint. The
Mm.
war, that's the war paint, right? And he used to dress up like the Baron with the top hat and the
Yeah.
long coat. Right. That's because he was kissing the god's ass literally to. That's why he stayed in power so long.
So long.
Right. And he
Right.
could have increased the people's comfort in Haiti, but there's only so much you can do when a war conjure is open. You can't have a war conjure open and Oshun be present. That's not gonna happen. And Oshun
Right.
is
Right.
over the wealth and the sustenance of a people. So until that conjure closed, so since it was already open, when they called the 200-year conjure war in America, they sent Haitians to Florida.
Mm.
Everybody did. Jamaica sent them. You go down there, all you gotta do is look. They all on the land. That's because
Mm.
tribes came as far away as the Polynesian islands, the Tonga, the islands from Alaska, right? So every tribe sent somebody. That's why the majority of the people is condensed in that part of the land. We don't
Right.
like to live on top of each other like
Right. Out. Right. Right.
yeah, I had a call. I had a call coming in, but I'm trying to finish this class first. Yeah, but we didn't live like that. So when they
Right.
all came in, right, um, all of this made the war contra have to be closed in Florida. The irony
Okay.
of it is the bookman had reached out to me. I didn't know it was him. I couldn't see him unless the priestess who officiated showed me who it was. The priestess
Sure.
who sacrificed live in Florida. The bookman is in Florida, right?
I heard you say
Tu-
that. Hmm.
Tusa is making he's closer to Florida than he was born in Chicago, right?
Wow.
That's
Okay.
crazy because they say Chicago was settled by a Haitian
I heard
named
that.
Jean Baptiste du Sable, right? Which means John the Black Baptist in English. But Chicago been a
Mm-hmm.
metropolis for us. So they knew that's not a new city. New York not new. The metropolises of aged old times and the energy centers, all of the major cities, right? So
Right.
when they all down there now to close the conjure, and I couldn't see the bookman until I seen the priestess who flipped the bookman, and I was like,
Mm.
holy shit! I was reading the lapis lazuli piece he sent me, right? And it was something that I couldn't see and I didn't know what it was. But soon as she flipped them to me, I looked at it and immediately know what it was. Right? So that changes everything. So they begin the closing of the
Right.
contract, right? When he adjourned the court in the matter of Toussaint Louverture in the Haitian Revolution, right? He's the one who officiated as the high priest over the ceremony. So he has to be the one
Mm-hmm.
to close it. Everybody who opened the conjure, they have to come close it.
Mm. Wow. Okay. So that's good. So we can be anticipating a shift. For some of us, should be able to feel this shift happening starting Tuesdays. What you're saying, correct?
Hmm.
Okay.
You
That's
might
that's
start
that's
feeling
good.
it over the weekend because leading up to it, once I put the pieces together, I be getting
Mhm.
messages so fast and so hard I can't keep up. And I'm a bad motherfucker with keeping up with messages.
Right.
They've been coming
Right.
in hot and heavy because it's
Wow.
like moving to a singularity. So all that information is being funneled and I'm catching it. Boy, am I catching it.
Wow. Wow. Good thing. And as you catch it, you're sharing it with us, right?
Oh
So you're
yeah,
helping
I
us
ain't
to
got
be
no
aware.
problem with I ain't got no problem with that.
Thank you. Thank you. Much appreciated. I mean, this helped me so much. So I got to thank you for that. And that answered my question. One of my last questions is this thing. So like I said, we're here in Mexico, and I've seen a lot of similarities in the people here, the culture here that I've seen in New Orleans, that I've seen in Atlanta. And one of the ways I'm able to see this is through like the ironworks that's on the doors and on the windows. I have a book here, the Andinkra Dictionary. I have this book here. And so I've highlighted some of the ones that I've been seeing here in Mexico. And I'm curious if you have any thoughts on what this made, like some of these symbols that we see in masonry,
That's
that
a
we just see that
butterfly.
in, someone your auntie's house, your grandmother's house. And when it speaks about the people and how we move, and how the parts of culture have been transmitted throughout the. I don't even see this in New Jersey and New York,
Yeah.
and so I'm just curious, what is that thing by the door and by the windows of this ironworks that I see all over the places I've been around the world?
Ogun protection. Anything that's made out of iron is a protection, is Ogun protecting.
Hmm.
And because he's over the iron, and he's the one that come bust that motherfucking sledgehammer upside a hard hit the motherfucker ass like me.
Right,
Yeah, he the one. When we get out of line and the war is still in place, he is the harsh taskmaster to keep us all on task. And you don't mess with the
right,
ones who honor Ogun. But really, none of the Orisha, they
right,
still honor their ancestors because that's all they is our ancestors. We just reading
right,
them as the energy signature that came down through the lineage, right?
right, right.
So when we honor that, we begin to see how to clear up our generational curses. But that's the Ogun, that's
Mm.
Ogun's children that you seeing with all of the ironworks.
Okay, okay, awesome. Okay, wonderful. And my second to last question, I promise this is the last one. I have a lot of people who come to us with children with, we talked about speech and talking, and they want to cut their palate. I guess they call it the palate surgery. I'm not sure, but like tongue tie and things like that. I'm curious your thoughts on that in light of how we talked about how we should parent our children. Just a sidebar. If that's something that we should look into so that our children can speak, or that's something that normally goes away, or just your feedback on that would be great.
Well, you got different speech impediments, and some of the speech impediments, most of them will fade with what we call basic speech therapy, right? But that's because the English language is so foreign to some of the old souls returning that they having a
Uh,
difficult time enunciating the words.
I see.
Do we
Yeah.
we used to speak when we first started speaking, it went from telepathy as our primary communication tool to the spoken word, right? To use it as an art form. That's what we made. That's why we created written language and spoken language for artistic purposes, like singing
Right.
and like writing music,
Yes.
right? So this is why we created the verbal language, and some of us they can recognize the old tones from like Nuwapic.
Hmm.
Some of the ones with learning disabilities learn Nuwapic at an accelerated rate to how fast they learn English. English is a
Yes. Yes.
confusing language to learn, and any foreigner that learned English as a secondary language will tell you if they learned any languages more than English, English was the hardest one to learn.
That's true. Hmm.
It's not a natural language, it's a language of division.
I would agree. In fact, I was talking to the taxi driver today, and we were talking in Spanish. He's like, "Oh, where did you learn?" I told him, places I've been, and how you talked about how English is almost. He said it's almost so. It's not smooth. It's jagged. It's like it's very. I don't know the word. Whereas other languages they flow. You have many words to describe an aspect of one thing. Whereas in English, it could be kind of difficult to find words to really express heart sentiments, feelings. And so it was quite interesting you say that because a taxi driver and I were talking about that and how my son, he's 3, and he prefers Spanish. He prefers Spanish and our indigenous languages over English. And English he's kind of taking his time with, but it makes perfect sense what you're saying. Some souls come down and come in with this ability to connect and speak in ancient tongues. I was one as a child as well. So I love that you said that. It looks like in the chat, a lot of people are agreeing with that.
Yeah, so that's very critical to our learning process of linguistics, language, understanding of the patterns of language and how they affect the neurology. You was looking for a
Right.
way to describe English with the jagged. That's because it's military, regimented. It's regimented,
Right.
right?
Right.
So when it is a byproduct of causing the languages to be divided into multiple
Mm.
languages.
Enough more recently. Um, because I know that you've spoken with Taj and you all have had work together on lives together and talk. And so Taj and Lamont, they all are about still filing the paperwork, and I understand why. But you say forget it altogether. But the thing is, though, I'm most concerned about too is the kidnapping and the quo warranto, because that's important, because these niggas don't play fair. Excuse my
Hmm.
French. They never have.
Yeah, they broke
You
every one
know.
of the rules. We followed them, they broke them, and we still won. Stupid asses.
Right. So my thing is, if you all are doing everything right, you telling them, just giving them the rundown, just the nation I'm a part of, consular jurisdiction, blah blah blah, or you just say you indigenous, right? You just give them the goddamn American Declaration for Indigenous Rights, or United Nations, and you stand on your square and you just give it to them. That don't prevent them niggas from kidnapping you still. And so
Right. So look,
with the
look, this is what the issue is with that right now, so that
hmm
everybody's clear.
yeah,
Until we exercise our governmental powers to reclaim the land, they still in power,
yeah, yeah,
right? So we had to go through a process to take them out of power called the redemption process. And so,
hmm
in going through the process, somebody had to learn civics to know how to assert jurisdiction and override the de facto corporation. And once that's done, then they begin to close the de facto corporation and move to the continuity of government program. And that's
yes,
where they start going through the Indigenous Rights Act and all of the things that we reclaim in jurisdiction of. All of that's taking place in real time in Raven Rock, Colorado. So once we close
yeah,
the Haitian Conjure up, which should be the end of, which should be next week sometime. Soon as the third day of the bookmen adjourning the court on the Haitian Conjure and calling forth the Sweetwater for Oshun to return. Soon as that happens, the shit gonna take off so fucking fast that motherfuckers gonna be like, "What the fuck just happened?"
hmm yeah. Well, I appreciate you answering that question, because you know, recently I had been kidnapped by the pigs, and so that didn't stop nobody. You know what I'm saying? And
Right.
so
Because they don't respect any of our rights. They said that
they
in the
don't.
Dred Scott case.
They don't.
Right. So um jurisdiction challenges like how he had said can be made orally. The challenge to the jurisdiction is there is a document. It's kind of I'm gonna tell you the name of it in a minute. But it gives the jurisdiction or it gives the power to prosecute from the executive branch.
hmm
No, from the legislative branch to the executive branch. They never had that paper. So it's a statement of jurisdiction. So when
hmm
you challenge in the jurisdiction, this is for the court case, but you still gonna encounter the motherfucking pigs on the street,
Right.
right?
Right.
So when you encounter them, until we in power, them motherfuckers still is in power,
hmm
right? So
Yep.
most of them, O'Shea Freeman, study the Haitian Revolution and it'll tell you the whole thing. But they not gonna honor nothing. They on that gung ho ass. This is my job, buddy. I have to perform my job.
Yes. United
They
States
don't.
is the only country on the land. They don't
So
care.
they don't have any understanding of the jurisdiction on the street level. When you get into
hmm
court, I'm gonna show you where our first fuck up is at arraignment. Because at arraignment, they give you three options: plead guilty, plead not guilty, or stand mute. In which case, the court enters a plea of not guilty on your behalf. Right?
hmm
That's called the joinder of the party in a civil action when they bring the prosecutor and the defendant together. The prosecutor is, in fact, a foreign agent, as well as the defense attorney and the judge. They
Right.
all
All of
right, so they all foreign agents. At
them.
the arraignment is where you block the charges by asking to show certificate of jurisdiction in proper style and title. In order,
Absolutely.
and they can't do it because it doesn't exist.
Right. That's what Taj was saying. He made that video about 5 months ago. He said, don't even get into the subject matter, y'all. First thing you do before they get to acting crazy with you or whatever is you ask them for their delegation of authority order. Oh,
Yeah.
let me see your order. It's like a certificate hanging up. Do you have it hanging up? Are you a constitutional officer? He said, call them by their name. Are you constitutional officer blah 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 Johnson? Are you constitutional officer administrative clerk Johnson? And if they skip around that question and try to get to the subject, and they keep avoiding your question, you can invoke your consular rights, um, and hold them in default. It's a
Right. Now,
default judgment.
along with that, you have to understand that um, the jurisdictional issue, you supposed to have a chief, organic to the land chief, that the court's supposed to contact and give them notice according to the treaty. This is what
Mm-hmm.
W. Ali had set up. But the original setup of the Moorish Science Temple under W. Ali was tribal setup using corporate jurisdiction to show them that, okay, so it was set up like this. You run into it with the policy enforcer, right?
Mm-hmm.
The policy enforcer in turn kidnap you because he's operating off what they call wartime doctrine. In the
Mm-hmm.
wartime doctrine, you catch the hostiles, which is the enemy combatant, and you detain them until they are negotiated liberty by a chief or a barrister. The barristers was acting under a charter from King George III coming out of Savannah in 1863. And they moved to D.C. in order to, because they have used titles of nobility, they have to be stationed in a independent nation, which was D.C. was a city state like the Vatican and like London. So this is what they was using, and all of the other bar associations is franchises or satellites. And so that's why they was able to artificially assert jurisdiction under the color of law. But when you take away the color of law, is when you asking them to show you a certificate of jurisdiction and proper style and title.
Right. Oh, and he also said too, make sure you ask when you ask for the delegation of authority order. You also have to ask the surety. Make sure that the surety bond is attached to it as well, because they can't provide. If they can't provide that shit, it's like treason. Because you operating without a bond on here.
Yeah,
You know
but
what I'm saying?
because that's what they doing. They operating without a bond.
Mm-hmm.
So they operating under what they call assumed jurisdiction. Barristers is only dealing with the paperwork and files of the royal family. So they only dealing with an internal matter among barristers. So they maintain subject matter jurisdiction at all times. What they don't have jurisdiction over is the organic people of the land when they know who they are. They become in a superior position to the legal fiction because they are the de jure person in a proper persona.
Right. 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 Yeah,
Yeah.
man. This stuff is important because I was like, man, okay, what should we do at this time? Because I'm like, both of y'all be teaching, again, stuff that is so vital for us to know at this time, But we in this
They got to
really
keep in
interesting
mind,
period.
Todd's been teaching the same thing for 50 years, but he's been waiting
Yeah.
on the closer to close the contracts.
Right.
So
Right.
a lot of what he's teaching is not that it was wrong; it's expired now.
Right. Right. Exactly. And that's the thing. We in a period now where it's like it's phasing out. And so he even said that like where this time period, the stuff I'm teaching you is obsolete now because the systems now are collapsing. So
Yeah,
I'm not going to be on here teaching you the same thing. He said this is mental exercise for you to understand what the hell is going on and how they've been locking us up in this contract. But for
yeah,
the most part, we're moving into a whole new earth at Midgard where this is not going to be the case. There ain't
yeah.
going to be no paperwork. The people are going to get what's coming to them, what's owed to them after they've been robbed, you know. So, yeah. Y'all be speaking that real shit. I appreciate that. You know, the
Okay,
people
so
we
you see this question right here, Paige?
Sister Kelly. Yeah, what's going on, Kelly? Okay, so Chief Page, she right. If one of us in that position of being kidnapped or being in the court setting, what do we do first? Declaration of authority or certificate of jurisdiction? So, I just listened to actually the Quo Warranto lecture that
Todd.
that Taj put out, and I also just spoke to Brother Lamont Maurice L, which is the consul of Morocco Consular Court, and they were saying like it is best for you to be out if you get kidnapped and under direct duress or threat. If you get out, you make bond or whatever. You don't want to go back in there. Like if they say you have to appear in court, you don't want to go back in there because you're never supposed to be in there in the first place. They didn't honor when they pulled you over, so you're never supposed to really go back in there in the first place. You're supposed to be in a consular court. So if you do have to go in there though, you do want to, before you get into the subject matter and before they start playing chess with you, first thing you do ask for is the delegation of authority order. You ask for that certificate and attach with the surety bond.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you get all up into the subject matter, again, anything you say or do can be used against you.
Ain't no can, it's will.
Yeah, will. So don't get all up into trying to tell them about the charges and all this. No, you have to establish if they have jurisdiction first. And how you establish if they have jurisdiction first is by asking them, do they have the delegation of authority order? Period. And if he jump around the fence, he or she jump around the fence or whatever, hold them in default. They in default at that point.
Yeah. So if you go into
Dismiss
a
the
court,
case.
if they drag you into the courtroom and they try to arraign you on something, and the judge asks you how you plead, the only answer is that you can't enter a plea, right? You have no
Hmm.
standing in this court, and you have no remedy because the jurisdiction is defective. They have to then stop everything they're doing to establish proper jurisdiction. The
Yep.
only way they can establish proper jurisdiction is by presenting the statement of jurisdiction in proper style and title.
Yeah. Yep. Yep. So that's the main thing because I feel like y'all the kidnapping, although again the frequency is being raised, but I don't think that's gonna stop some of these devils from trying to kidnap more people.
Oh, yeah, because they believe that they the fucking law and what they say is binding because they are the personified law walking around in a uniform.
Yep.
They
Yep.
got a term for it. It's called contempt of cop. Y'all need to look that up. Contempt of cop. That's the
Mm.
psychological development that these police go through. They become, in their minds, the law book start walking around as a person. And anybody who thinks they're above the law is really about to get fucked up by the motherfucking policy enforcer.
Mm-hmm. Contempt of cop. Mm.
Yep.
Good to know. Good to know. Yeah, man, that was a question that I definitely had, Rod. I was like, man, I wondered like what should we do on that, with that. But you answered that definitely, and Taj did too. All of it makes sense. So give thanks and gratitude. They said, what about civil suits if they try to summon you into their punk ass court for past due bills?
Mm-hmm.
Does the same
I'm
apply?
I'm not answering shit from their courts because they don't have no jurisdiction. But it don't
Yeah.
mean that they won't put a lien on your social security number to garnish wages or nothing like that. Because they tried to do that
Hmm.
shit to me, but they kissed my ass because they ain't smarter than me. But a lot of the stuff, a lot of the individuals can't do because they don't have the sufficient knowledge for follow up dissertation back and forth with the judiciary,
Hmm.
right? So that puts you in a state where you have to have your chief, who is the law lawyer of the land, right? So you got tribal courts has been around and they still here, and the chiefs is the one who represent the claims.
Yeah. Yeah. And those chiefs. Would they be considered consuls?
The chief, the
No,
chief
just
is
chiefs.
the chief is the chief can sit on the judge seat. In the tribal
Okay.
court, the judge is a chief, male or female.
Okay.
The judge position is the chief. When the people come in, what they use is the grand jury. They got that from us. That's not in Europe. The
Mm-hmm.
grand jury
Right.
was elders in the community where you go and you presented your complaint, and they would examine it to see if you've done anything that's in fact punishable by tribal standards. A lot of this shit that's punishable in Western law is not punishable by tribal standards.
Mm-hmm. Mm. Got it.
Yeah.
Got it.
Hey, thank
Wow.
you for coming to talk to me, sweetie. I ain't heard from you
Hey,
in a minute.
hey, as always, thank you so much, Ryan, for all you do. And we definitely gonna talk soon. For sure.
Okay. Yeah,
Take
because
care, Chief.
we finna see this shit fall.
Oh yeah, it did. Peace and love.
Peace, guys. I'm gonna take one more caller. Peace, God.
Peace to you, Big Rod.
What it do? What it do? Tell the people where you calling from so they in the loop.
I'm Raphael. I'm calling from Chicago.
That's right. City of Win in this bitch.
You already know. So I've been I've been lately. The universe has been sending me like my numbers. I'm a 9 life path, so it's been sending me 999, and everybody I run into been a 9 life path. So I had started doing a lot of looking into myself before I can try to guide somebody else because they asked me for guidance. And then I looked it up. It was like the Archangel Raphael, which my name is Raphael. He celebrated on the 29th of September. My birthday on the 30th of September. So I'm trying to see the significance in that and what you think about it because I feel like I know what it is, but I'm always looking for the clarity, especially from somebody like yourself.
Now, so what did it tell you thing Raphael mean?
It said the healer, natural humanitarian. Uh,
That's
First of
not the
all, right,
meaning of the name. That's the function of the position.
right. So I don't really know what the meaning of the name is. I just know the function of the position.
Right. So what you're doing is study leap year. Understand why we got a leap year.
Okay.
So it's you playing hand grenades with your birthday. Horseshoes and hand
Right.
grenades. Almost. It's close enough.
Right.
Right. So when you just go look it up for yourself, see what leap year is there for. Because it's to make up for lost days. Right?
Okay.
Then look at your year, your birth year in relation to the closest leap year. You're gonna either be 1 year after or 1 year before if you align right with the Raphael birth energy or celebratory energy. You could
Okay.
calculate the day. If you in the middle 2 years between them, then you're gonna be either 2, 3, or 4 days off. The second day you either 2 or 2 days off, and the third day or the third year you're gonna be behind 2 years. So you get 2 years ahead or 2 years behind. And the
Okay.
days is significant because in a leap year you got 366 days. Right. So when you look it up, follow what you feel because it's gonna send you to more research.
Okay. And another thing, I had a dream, right? I was in a room. The room was like pitch black. It was like pitch black. Like I can't make this shit up. And I seen a black horse. It was just sitting there, and it was just looking at me. And then I woke up. I'm
The
like,
black
what?
horse is the it's it measures. If you read in it carries the scales in his head. This,
Right,
this the black horse.
right. And I'm a Libra, so I am a scale.
See, so the black horse comes at the end to give everybody their due portion of the proceeds that Big Mama got for us after we get done with the closing of the age. Right. So the
Mm.
reason it was still because it's not time to pay up yet. If it was time
Mm.
to pay up, it would have been on the march, either running to you or from you. Hopefully, it'll be running to you because it's coming to bring you a whole bunch of wealth.
Mm.
Yep. The
Okay.
black horse is very, that's us. And ride 6 black horses, cleared my mind with a black and mild. Roaming through these ghetto streets, guess you could call me a ghetto child.
Okay.
Tomorrow's never a promise, so we live our lives today. Roaming through these ghetto streets, we sit and wait on the judgment day.
Look, you killed me with your
That's
song
that
too.
Wu Way right there, boy.
Okay. Okay. I had one more thing to ask you. I heard you mention in the video. I've been trying to get you to talk about it, but you know, like you always be like, look, I ain't gonna talk about none of that right now. I'm on a specific mission, and I respected it. You know what I'm saying? I didn't say anything about it no more, but I did hear you mention uh cryptocurrency in a video. I think it was with Young Elder, and I had a little bit of knowledge in it. I came to your inbox like, yo, if you want to do a video on crypto and you know have people heads against inflation, we can do it. But I was just trying to see your take on it. You know what I'm saying? Because I think I know what I know, but I was trying to see what you know because I really wanted to hear you talk about the situation.
When it comes to money, truthfully, I don't trust any other currencies.
Uh,
I don't trust them. So my first response is to tell people if you got money in the bank, take it out and buy gold and silver coins.
mm,
Cause no matter what happened, that shit not gonna lose value.
right.
The dollar, the bottom gonna fall out that bitch in seconds, and you're not gonna be able to prepare if you're not already prepared.
Exactly.
But right now, I don't really trust any of the currencies, so I can't really dialogue on it because my trust it don't feel stable enough for me. None of the economies feel stable enough for me to tell people yay or nay.
Okay. And the buy the gold, because I mess with Glint on the gold. They send you a debit card for it, but I'm trying to see how do I get my physical gold and who can I go through that can bring me the real physical gold.
This it's not hard to get physical gold, but you got to make sure that when you get it, it's a 99.9999,
Right.
right? And
Yeah.
that's how you know you got the right shit.
So if I got a 10 karat gold chain, what is
10
it?
carats is mostly 10.
Right.
And so they
Okay.
melt the tin and the gold and mix it together to stretch the gold.
Okay. Okay, big bro. All right. Well, I'm about to do what you said do. I appreciate you, man. I appreciate everything that you do for us. And yeah, I'm out of here.
All
Stay
right, peace,
safe.
God.
Yeah.
Mm. Peace, God. I can't hear you. You got no sound coming through. You sure you ain't got your mic on mute? Look for the microphone icon. Try to turn your Bluetooth off. No sound. I'm gonna drop you down. Try to come back in. Maybe you have sound. You got some good sound coming through. How you doing?
How you doing?
I'm good. Where y'all calling from?
We're in Florida.
Finish
Down
line.
here. Yeah, we are. We're in St. Cloud, Florida.
How you doing?
I didn't I did not know you have put the video on. I'm sitting here talking. It's so good to talk to you. I've been scared. My kids tell me I'm a punk for not getting on your live.
You should have put one of them on there.
Oh, they right here. Say hi.
How y'all
Here we
doing?
go. So how y'all doing?
Hey, you got the angel
They
squad
said good.
back there. Watching over
Sorry.
mama.
Yeah. It's so crazy. My husband watches you every day.
Peace,
All
God.
right. What's happening?
Taking it easy. I love to see the
We
family
have been.
together. That make my heart out.
Oh yes, we stay together. I keep my nieces, my nephews always with us. Somebody always with us. But
Yeah, I
I
love
do.
that shit.
Oh yeah, we love family. Big on family. It's so
That's
crazy
how we
because
was
I say
raised.
I'm the black sheep, huh?
I said that's how we was raised. My mom used to have 50 kids in the back of a station wagon.
Right. That's right. Yeah. Oh yeah, we always. I grew up with family being at the house all the time, and then we moved to Florida. There wasn't nobody here, so it was kind of hard. But yeah, I got my own family. But
Well, yeah.
I have a question. Well, I got a lot of questions, but I'm not gonna ask everything. But my
Okay.
biggest thing right now is I came to the realization when I was digging into my family's history that I am the fourth of a fourth of a fourth,
Four, four,
and
four.
my son is now the fourth of
Mm-hmm.
me. Well, due to a miscarriage, which my mom had a miscarriage right before me.
Situation with Philly and how you see it. Uh, Philly definitely got a dark cloud over it.
They put a curse
It's
on Philly. The settlers put a curse on Philly.
you
That's
can
why they.
see it,
That's when they moved the capital because Philly was our capital.
man. Philly
So
is going. That's like they like Chicago out there. You feel me? It's on like it's something. It's like you can just look at that city. It's a dark cloud over it. You can barely see the stars in Chicago.
that's
So
that's the innocent blood.
that's the innocent blood. Mm,
That shit crying for redemption. It's time to pay up.
mm,
Philly right now, they don't realize it, but when they see the leadership step out front, it's gonna click because they gonna
mm-hmm.
tell them that we've been turned against each other by a foreign invader.
You think
Pump
that's
the
gonna
brakes
matter?
for a minute before you try to kill your brother. Listen to what I'm telling
You think that's gonna matter though, bro? I think it's deeper than that though, Ron, because from my understanding, from what I be seeing in life, bro, like you feel me? I'm 33, so like in the 90s, you feel weed and liquor, you feel me? Alcohol, even in the early 2000s. Now you got motherfucking pharmaceuticals. Once the higher the elites got the youth hooked on pharmaceuticals such as Xanax, Percocets, lean. Once that shit starting to be like popping, Joe, that's when you see more treacherous acts of violence. More innocent people getting killed is because of the drugs. And that's why I say the drug dealers are sorcerers. You feel me? Because a spell
you. Pharmakeia means sorcery.
exact, point blank period. And then in ancient times, a curse was used to cause affliction through a disease or a virus. That's why a curse has cures. The same word, just the letters is scrambled. But a spell was caused through addiction, drugs or addiction. Spells are meant to control people. Curses are meant to cause affliction through disease and virus. Spells, drugs, and addiction. So it's like, that's why I say like drug dealers are like when I see these dope fiends walking around this motherfuckers nodding off and mid walk, I already know somebody put a root on them. Somebody put it's somebody in this community doing voodoo. You feel
Look,
me? Witches,
look,
cause
listen.
like crack it. Go ahead, bro.
That's a lot of times we taught in the church to cast a spell on ourselves.
In modern
So
times, we say the
when you see
spell
them
is a
people like
speller.
that, right? And a lot of times you see people like that, the the ego of who they perceive they are, they put a spell on them to keep them from being a total tyrant. So they
Mm,
use those drugs as the way to maintain that control of that beast.
definitely. And it's
That's
making
why they.
niggas
That's why they
docile.
took. Look. That's why they took all the more militant motherfuckers off heroin and gave
And
them
then
crack.
and look how they dressing now. You feel me? These niggas wearing skinny jeans with some big ass boots, big ass shoes on. You feel me? With skinny jeans, and it's like, gee, you can tell like the drugs that people doing now is demasculating men. You feel me? It's taking away their they testosterone and it's putting more estrogen in them. And you can tell by the
But that's
mentality of
cultural.
these
That's
niggas.
cultural, and then they also feeding a lot of estrogen in the water, right?
Yep.
They got estrogen in the water. They got estrogen in the cows and make them produce more milk, right? So you're getting overloaded with estrogen. Then if you're feeding any soy products to a boy, you increase the spike in estrogen. And any bodybuilder tell you that if you're going to be using a steroid, which is a testosterone booster, that you have to have a estrogen blocker in order to not the testosterone not to turn into estrogen, because the estrogen causes in high doses it causes the organs to start to deteriorate, right?
Mm.
Um,
I think somebody got a question for you. They say is Enlil still locked away?
and Leo not on Earth, and Leo been gone. Yeah, they just to say grow titties. They call that bitch tent in the workout world. And then they're using those steroids and also give them acne from hell. But you gotta have an estrogen blocker or them steroids to tear your organs up. Let me see. Well, I ain't got no room to look down on nobody. I've been at the bottom my whole life.
Let me see. Yeah, we got more questions. Let me see. Prince ass funny as hell. Oh damn shit. He deleted. Oh damn. Let me try to pull it up.
Look, this is a known. Uh, if you know a shaman, okay, if I knew was to return, would you? No, I knew. Don't give two shits what we do on Earth, long as it don't affect Nibiru. The agreement that the Earth made with Nibiru was every 3,600 years they get a quantity of gold to sustain the atmosphere, and they'll give us whatever new technologies that they encounter in return for that. And all of Inky and Inlip kids, Marduk, they all have to leave. They can't stay here. Inky kids was worked in harmony with the earth, but Enlil and his kids, with all of this shit you see going on now to fuck us over, they had to leave. Inky, about a year ago, Inky came with a contingent and was given permission by the Andromeda beings, who was the ones stationed on the outside of Pluto, to come in and retrieve mining technology, which is they people. The mining technology is they mining supervisors, they Lulu Amalu handlers. So when they go, the Earthborn, we have to raise in vibration and frequency so that when we inherit the Earth, that we don't let nobody else come in and trick us and take this bitch over again.
Man. Hey,
Inky knew.
so like if we like you said, so we in a contract that we gotta pay, you feel me, motherfucker, the higher ups certain amount of atomic gold, basically, you feel me, every 3,600 years. So that would mean, and every 3,600 years they would keep updating our technology. So that would mean, Joe, then it's a being or a race of beings that's been on this motherfucker for thousands of years. Over, you feel me, like 3,600 years, because they every cycle, like that,
Yeah,
so we gotta
they've been here for a while. They came when Atlantis was here. Atlantis was its own species of human. And when you see the people that they got in Antarctica, when they finally show the motherfuckers, you see what I'm talking about. Their arms and legs are skinny and longer than ours, right? And they don't look as mammalian as us, but they don't quite look reptilian either. They look more like some kind of amphibian. But these motherfuckers psychic dynamos. Our psychic abilities will come back online in time over the next couple generations. But these motherfuckers so out cold that if they was nefarious beings, that psychic ability, they can make us pretty much do what they want because we haven't developed. It's like a baby
Yeah.
learning how to walk.
Yep. Exactly. Exactly. Not hey, that shit deep because like if it's like so when we done with the star constellation, you feel me? I mean the Andromeda galaxy, you feel me? So this where the insectoids, you feel me, come from. So these motherfuckers like highly intelligent too. That's why I was trying to ask you like the other day, like if we was to encounter, one of these extraterrestrials, you feel me, like how will we know which ones the hostile ones and which ones is not? Somebody asked, do they have many of our people off world as slaves?
They got different worlds with different species of human on them.
I would
Humans is not always slaves. Some planets there's no such thing as a slave.
I,
Other planets is a straight motherfucking work camp.
I wouldn't. That's why I was saying like I wouldn't even say like you feel me like they got us. Their intentions is to enslave us. You feel me? Because if
They
they
use it
need
for survival purposes.
if they can do they if they are these highly powerful beings, you feel me? They got all these psychic abilities. What do they need us to do anything for them for? You
They
feel me?
lazy.
I feel like it's if they was, you feel me? If they do need us, it'll be for a more divine purpose. You feel me?
Look,
Maybe some type of
they
genetics
first
or
needed us because they was lazy and they didn't want to do the work themselves.
but they got mental powers though.
Right. So
So they
they use a mental power to create something that was gonna do the work for them.
man, it's deep. So I mean, and I'm definitely familiar with the scriptures. You feel me? And then at least you feel me. The Anunnaki came from Nibiru. You feel me? To basically make they they made modern man, which is Homo sapiens sapien. I think they was dealing with like a Australopithecus or a Homo erectus. They spliced the DNA of a woman, ape woman, basically, and the DNA with the blood of the gods. And this is how they upgraded us our consciousness, which is Homo sapiens sapien, modern man. We can work, use tools, problem solve, things like this. And they upgraded our consciousness for us to be slaves. I understand it, but it's like when we dealing with these highly developed beings, you feel me? Do they really need us to slave for them? I think they need us for something else, though. They may need us for DNA purposes. You
We was
feel me?
also entertainment.
Maybe,
This
maybe.
is look, if you really pay attention to Earth, you got every kind of motherfucking shit show you want to see going on Earth. All you gotta do is just watch this shit play out. And you're gonna be sometimes you're gonna laugh, sometimes you're gonna cry, sometimes you're gonna get mad, wanna punch a motherfucker in the face. You know what I'm saying? You're gonna go through all of the experiences you go to a movie to see by watching Earth.
Mm, damn. No, somebody. So we got comments. Zaza, be quiet, bro. So yeah, we got questions, Joe. It's a lot of these. It's a few of these joints. So when we talking about building, I mean bending elements and teaching the kids to do the same. So most of us, you feel me, have had telekinetic experiences. You feel me in our life, and it happens when we kids. My first telekinetic experience that I can remember, you feel me, I had got suspended from school. Got a phone call from home. You feel me? School called my mom, and I got suspended. So I'm already knowing I'm finna get in trouble. She finna tell that ass up when she get off work. So I get off the school bus, go in the crib. As soon as I get in the crib, I was mad as hell because I'm thinking she finna be in the house, like screaming and shit. So wasn't nobody in the house though. So I drop my book bag at the door, and I walk in my room, mad as hell, a little ass boy, mad as hell. Soon as I walk into my room, the door slammed behind me. And I know for a fact I ain't pulled that door, but I ain't think of it nothing at that time. You feel me? Because I was, but as I look back on the experiences I had, you feel me? Those were telekinetic experiences. You feel me? When I was in school, when I was in like fourth grade, I used to talk too much. I used to be one of them kids that used to talk a lot. So my teacher always separated my desk. She put my desk up by her desk. You feel me? And I was like facing the chalkboard. My back was against the whole class, so I couldn't talk to nobody. But her desk, it was always a little fan at the desk, and I used to always catch myself staring at it, and it was moving. But soon as like I noticed, like soon as I stopped staring at it, it stopped spinning. You feel me? Slowly. You feel me? But it's like everybody just think. I'm pretty sure if you think deeply, you had a telekinetic experience to teach the kids how to tap into their abilities as far as like bending. You know, um, see if they can do it, without even telling them, like, I'm gonna teach you how to practice, how to do telekinesis. Just see if they can do it. Just put a light object, start with a light object, a piece of paper, maybe a feather, a piece of toilet paper, something very light, and just tell them to try to move that without touching it. You feel me? Try to move and see if they can do it. It's a lot of things we can, a lot of practices that we can do on a daily basis that enhance our, psychic abilities as far as telekinesis. But I mean, if you got any advice on that, definitely go ahead, bro.
See, the first thing is you gotta tell the child to remove the limitation is the first step. And you remove the limitation by telling them that they can develop the skill, but they have to develop it and it takes time and practice. The more
Hmm.
practice you put in, right? So then you have to start teaching them the mechanics of bending, right? Air
Exactly.
bending, water bending, fire bending. But when they understand the mechanics of one, they can begin to understand the mechanics of another one, right? So the first thing is to first practice removing the limitation from the mental part by telling them that it's a process. It don't happen overnight. It takes
Exactly.
practice and persistence. The child will understand it, but we don't want to tell them to do nothing that requires persistence because that's creating a strong character trait, and it goes
Exactly.
contrary to the social ego development.
Definitely. I mean, I definitely would definitely agree, man. And it's just, the child gonna do it, naturally. If it are some of us, you feel me? Most of us have had experiences and shit, man. And it be deep, like. And now that I look at it, you feel me? It be because I didn't walked outside, you feel me? And a bag was floating, you feel me? And then as soon as I stopped looking at it, you feel me? That motherfucker just stopped. And it be like little weird shit. It be like little subtle shit that you don't even think that's like, you feel me? Like, yo, that's you all the time. You feel me? So I mean, as far as like telekinesis, I would say, I mean, like if our bending, when we dealing with bending, you feel me? These abilities are psychic. These are psychic abilities. Like the way I teach it, you feel me? It's visualization in the beginning. You have to see the object moving. You feel me? How you want it to move. You have to see the object move. Now you raise your intention. You feel me? While you raising your intention, the mind must become void of thought. And this is why telekinesis is so hard because it's very hard for us to quiet the mind down because the mind is always thinking. If you have that much mind control where you can shut the mind off and become blank minded while keeping the intention raised, you have to keep the intention but lose the thought. Become the mind must become void, and if you raise your intention, that object will move. You practice this shit, you feel me? You get better and better at it. Start with light objects, then graduate to heavy objects. You feel me? But it's a lot of shit. You feel me? Like bro said, it's practice, consistent. There's the people I train with. You feel me, Joe? They've been practicing for 10, 15 plus years, almost 20 years, and they very strong. They pulling way heavier objects than me. I look like I'm doing something over here. But when y'all see what I'm training, when you feel these motherfuckers pulling way heavier objects, and they've been practicing way longer though. You feel me? If you into that shit, you gonna be practicing, and you probably gonna be like, man, I ain't advancing. fast enough. Just be patient because telekinesis is for those who work hard for it. Any psychic ability. It's for those who work hard for it. You feel me? If you work hard for this, you deserve these psychic abilities. I feel like we ain't supposed to just wake up and know how to do this shit. You feel me? Because a lot of people want these abilities, but they don't want to put in the work, and they don't deserve them. Now, there's people that practice this shit every day, that dedicate a lot of time and energy to this shit, and they advancing highly. They becoming stronger. So, and they absolutely deserve it, dude. You feel me?
You gotta also the visualization is so critical to moving the object with the mind, right? But you gotta also remember there's other forms to generate the energy, like palm chakras, right? If the child know he got chakras in his palm, you can use a palm chakra exercise to strengthen your whole aura.
Mm,
You know,
definitely, definitely.
and once you learn how to do it, where you can push pull left right hand energy from one to the other, the stronger you make the field between your hands, the stronger your spirit body. Go back to what we was talking about earlier about the spirit body and astral travel, right? I got a series of exercises that I build on top when I'm doing one-on-one teaching to show people stuff. Like right now, like on here, it's like a lot of stuff. Like I need like the chalkboard, and this is how you, and this is what you see. Going through the steps
Hmm.
because sometimes the know-how is first understanding the mechanics.